Awesome. Welcome back to another episode of It Is What It Is podcast. I am your host, Cody Kelly. It has been a great day, but this brother is tired. I am super excited. I've been busy, brother. I don't know if you. I've been here, there. I feel like I've lived on Zoom, but everything has been good. It's been amazing. This is after Easter, having this amazing talent. But before we begin, you know how you want to support this channel? You know how you want to support this podcast? You got to do two things. Follow me on Instagram at CVMK33 and on YouTube at CV space K. C is in Cody, V is in Vernon, space K is in Kelly. That's how you want to connect. That's how you encourage me. Let me know that you're out there so I can continue to bring amazing influencers like this who are changing the world. With that being said, I have an amazing guest, an amazing creator. I mean, I'm like, this is what a content real creator is. I'm not like a content creator. I just like play like I am, but this guy right here actually does this for real. Josh, how you doing today?
Hey, man, I'm doing well. Thanks for having me on.
Anytime, man, anytime. Well, look, I appreciate you. Obviously, it's an inside joke, but this is part 2.
Yes.
So, it's been awesome, man. I appreciate the ability to let me host you again.
No problem.
Yeah, sometimes you have technical difficulties in the first one, and you got to kind of reschedule. So this is great. Well, Josh, tell me, let the audience know. I know, right? Let the audience know, what do you do? What have you done? Some of the things that they've seen that they didn't know you were behind.
Yeah, well, I mean, I ain't big time yet, but yeah, I'm Josh. I'm a filmmaker, a musician, business owner, and I've done a little bit of everything, man. I did a Miles Morales Spider-Man fan film a couple years ago that has over 3 million views. I just released this audio drama podcast called The Miseducation of John Mark. It's a really cool story, and then I have done short films. I've done 2 albums now as a musician, key-centric. So I've done a little bit of everything. Just anything arts related is my lane. It's what I love to do, and it's what brings me joy.
Awesome. You say he does it all. Before we get into it, I want to actually preview for the audience the Miseducation of John Mark so they can get a feel for it. We can discuss it. We can open up what led behind this amazing content, and then we can sit there because on It Is What It Is, we go there.
Okay. I'm ready.
So let's do it.
Looked like he was about to lunge for my weapon. Fearing for my life, I drew my gun and I was forced to open fire.
We are sick and tired of seeing our young black men massacred by an uncaring system. How many more have to die before people start listening?
Our local police need to know there are still people that stand by them. We want to see the city return to normalcy, and how can we do that? Job.
What about John Mark? The guy out there last night. Have you seen the news?
You have to instill peace, instill order to make the people listen.
It's about time the Wildcats rise up and take what's ours and kick America to the curb like the dogs they are.
I want you to find out who this John Mark is and get things under control.
The Miseducation of John Mark. Coming soon to your favorite podcast platform.
And we're back for a second time. This is why we don't do this live anymore. Because if we did it live, you'd be like, what is going on? Get on now, play. This is why we don't do it live. This is what it is. So,
yes, sir.
What led? Well, obviously, a lot led to this. I think 2020 was a launching pad for a lot of different voices to be heard.
Yeah.
But I think you took it a step further with creating a storyline, podcast. A lot of, I think we all spoke on social justice and what needs to happen and the changes that need to be made. But you created an actual art element, right? With actors, screen writing, a plot, development, So like, real thinking. Not like there wasn't any thought behind anybody else's, but something that was a little bit more nuanced that we weren't accustomed to, I should actually say. So why? I mean, why? And then how do you possess this ability to take truth and create this artistic expression that's like, it always feels like it's 2 steps ahead of everybody.
Mm-hmm. Wow, that's a huge compliment. Thank you, man. Well, the story came probably 2015, 2016. There was quite a few police shootings during that time, and I think that was the first time I really noticed certain people's responses to it as almost saying these guys deserved to die, in the sense like, oh, they were doing something wrong or this, that, and the other. They were always assuming the worst of someone. And for me, seeing a 9-year-old, I think it was Tamir Rice, was getting killed for having a fake gun. That just didn't sit right with me. And with Philando Castile having his daughter in the car and his girlfriend in the car, and him saying he has a gun but is not actively trying to use it, and just got shot 5 or 6 times at point blank range. For me, that was very disheartening, and I wouldn't wish that upon anyone, whether they're black, white, Asian. And for me, it was wrong. Like, what's wrong is wrong, whether they're black or white. But a polarizing response I saw, kind of, it just hit me at a core that I didn't think nothing ever had before. And so I was like, I've got to find a way to talk about issues like this in a way that examines all sides of the matter, as far as not just like, oh, you've got this cop that killed a guy, but what all goes into that? What are the systems, and what are the history surrounding these things that affect how the world is today? Because nothing is new under the sun. Right. And so things that have happened before have happened again. And as we can see, 2020 really came to a pinnacle. And that's when I really felt that, okay, now is the time to tell the story. And I developed the characters for years and had wanted to get characters from different viewpoints to bring into the story, because ultimately the message of the story is to love one another, and then also to meet somewhere in the middle of, like, instead of going off on political extremes, instead of everyone saying it's us versus them, really coming together, like, okay, acknowledging, number one, that these issues exist. Right. Police violence, police brutality is a thing that exists. Number two, here's a way that we can address it without throwing each other under the bus or without going off the deep end. Now, we still need accountability with that, and we also bring that into the story, and that is an element. But I just didn't want to jump to another extreme. And so, I developed these characters. Like, you have a police chief in the story that has a viewpoint. You have a more conservative media person that has a viewpoint. You have a more, I guess you could say, Black Panther-esque character that has a viewpoint. You've got someone, a police officer that has his viewpoint. And these all kind of clash and challenge the concept of, can we actually come together to work this out? Because everyone's off on their own agendas. Right. And so through the character of John Mark, this kind of activist in the story, he works on showing everyone that we can work this out together. And that's really what I wanted to communicate in the backdrop of this police shooting.
I like it. Why such an interesting take, because it seems like extremism on, all sides, if you want to say one is reactionary, but it seems like the middle no longer exists. And I guess there's critique against, the middle, but it seems like, you're for or against, right? You can't be middle of the road anymore. You have to draw the line in the sand. And, what I've learned, especially as you age, everything isn't so clear, even when you do pick a side, and even when you do see truth and understand truth, not only are there levels to truth has to be implemented, right? so it's always this kind of weird tango, this weird dance. Why the name John Mark, right? Like, that's a very biblical name, literally, like, John Mark, the writer, right? So, like, I've noticed with content creators, nothing is random. Everything that is done is based off of something, or it derives for something. It's attached to something, or is going somewhere. So how does this character get its name, and then why?
Yeah, so I think this character, the name just kind of rung to me. I don't remember when I first came up with it, but it did have so in essence, I wanted to create a character that was kind of like a Jesus figure, as far as someone that he came off a little bit mysterious. People didn't know who he was initially, but then he was very vocally advocating for truth and justice. And so, he's not a perfect archetype for Jesus, but he was still someone that I feel like would be like a moral standard for the people around him. And so, John Mark, the name just kind of had a biblical ring to it. And it was just interesting to me. And then I just remember the miseducation. That phrase always kind of stood out to me as somewhat mysterious but cool. So it was like, hey, the miseducation of John Mark. So it's kind of twofold. It's like people misunderstanding John Mark and thinking he's ignorant when really they're the ones that are kind of walking in ignorance. So it's really the miseducation of the people of Eastwood in a sense. But it's framed as, oh, John Mark is this guy that's just trying to go around and start trouble. Different viewpoints are coming against him. And so that's kind of where the name came from. It just sounded cool to me, had a biblical ring. And then, like you said, the biblical implications of the character.
I like it. I want to do something. I want to view your Miles Morales video, because I want to view the viral, because I think we're always looking for the big bang. Right, like everybody wants to make a splash, and everybody wants to be seen and be heard, for right or wrong. And I want to show people what I want to say virility, but I want to show what how you got to this journey and the lessons you can learn from it. So
I got plenty on that.
Tune in and watch this amazing video. I want you to see what real traction looks like.
Stop.
Hey man, I can barely get to 20 views or something about now. I'll be like, hey, anybody watching my stuff? No. I'm gonna watch. I gotta pay for this stuff. Nah, so
about. And then there's me, Miles Morales, your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. Still kind of new at this thing, okay? Sheesh. Is there any way I can get a do-over?
There's that razor sharp wit again. Trying so hard to emulate the fool. I'll ensure you die like him.
Not today. Why are you after me? What did I do to you? Superhero land. Deadpool will be so proud of me right now. Let's change things up a bit.
A new trick. It won't matter though, boy. If you run, I'll pursue. I never tire. I never grow weary. You could run all you want, but eventually, you will die. Just like Peter Parker.
Things can only go uphill from here, right? How do you know about Peter?
Hunters know their kill well. Join the other Spider-Men where you belong.
What about me? Let's not add sexism to your long list of reasons to get punched, Morgan. You'll become even more of a walking cliche.
Ooh, savage.
Excuse me for one moment.
Nice.
You gonna help?
Just gonna stay quiet. Hey there.
Nice move, rookie.
Rookie? Who do you think's been holding him off this whole time? And where'd you come from?
complicated.
He said he killed Spider-Man, the first one, but that can't be because Goblin...
Can we talk about this after the murderous vampire guy is taken down?
Okay, but what's your plan?
We fight. Hard.
Saying one verb does not make a plan. How's she gonna show up from another universe and not have a plan? Bruh. Gotta be quicker than that.
What makes you think you can oppose me? You're not really Spider-Man. You're just a shadow, a copy. I know all about you. This city hates you, tells you how you never should have put on the mask. You're nothing but an emulation of a real hero. Something you'll never be.
Don't listen to him.
Maybe when we first started. Maybe even yesterday. But right here, right now, I'm the ultimate Spider-Man.
What trigger is this?
Hope this works. Did I die? Felt like it. But apparently I didn't.
Looking for this hot shot? Those are some pretty awesome moves out there, Miles.
How do you know my name?
I was sent here to find you. We need your help.
Who sent you?
Guess I should start at the beginning. My name's Gwen Stacy. I'm fighting a war against Moreland with the help of my friend, Peter Parker.
Looks like today is only just the beginning.
So Josh, what led to this? What led to you going down this route? There's a lot of what misappropriately called fanboys, right? There's a lot of people who love the comic book universe and try to enact. You actually created kind of not just a mini trailer, but a short mini film, right?
Yeah.
And so why? And then how did you not get sued? So
no, there's a whole, I guess you could say, Spider-Man fan film community. It's actually a pretty big thing on YouTube. So Marvel doesn't really mess with us unless people are trying to do something really, 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 really big. But no, it's funny. I did a trailer for a contest at my local Comic-Con in 2015. And the reason I did it is because I remember it was a superhero trailer contest. I loved making films. So I was like, let me do something. And I just remember someone had posted a picture of Miles Morales on my wall. I was like, hey, you look kind of like him. And then I read up on the character. I was like, hey, let me just do this guy. We did that trailer. We won the contest. That video has, I think, almost 800,000 views. And so I was like, hey, let's just do a film. I started making this film. I did a whole Kickstarter for it, and it failed miserably. I was trying to raise like $10,000, and I think we got like $200. And I was really disheartened, and it kind of scarred me from crowdfunding after that. But and then I tried to make this other film. I was like, well, I'm going to make another film, and it just kept falling apart. Then I tried to make a mini series, and that just fell apart. We shot like 2 scenes, and it just fell apart. And so I was like, man, what do I do? And so then I was like, okay, let me just make a short 7-minute, 8-minute film that just gets in there. It's not this big budget thing, and it teases Spider-Verse, which is a big thing from the comics before the movie came out, mind you.
Right.
And so we did that, and I was in the editing room, and I was like, this film sucks. I'm looking at this film day in and day out, like, this movie's terrible. And so then I just kind of prayed about it and kept coming up with solutions. And then finally ended up reworking the film into adding like the voiceover style thing in the film. And it really lightened up the tone, because I was trying to make this dark, deep piece about Miles Morales' struggle to defeat this otherworldly vampire thing from the comics guy, that's part of the Spider-Verse storyline. And so I made it light, I made it comedic, and it really resonated with the fans. It was like one of the kind of like one of the first Miles fan films at the time, before Miles Morales really kicked off in regular media for real. And so it's kind of something the fans could kind of grasp onto. And so I think it may have gotten 100,000 views within its first 2 months, and then it just kept rising up from there. And then we hit 1 mil, then we hit 2 mil, then we hit 3 mil. And I knew making it, I was like, I know we can achieve this at least 1 mil, just because of the success of the trailer. But I didn't think I'd be hitting 3. So through all the persevering and all of the late nights and beating myself up for making a terrible film, I think it paid off. So I'm happy about that.
How do you stay? All right, so you just told the formula, right? Like when you made it, there was so many trial and errors, just like start, stop. And you kept pushing it. And then you put this out there. And then in your final edit, you were like, I'm not going to care what anybody says. I'm going to just go with what I feel. I'm going to make it lighter. I actually, I like the voice kind of add on. It kind of had that Deadpool type flair to it.
Which I referenced in there. Yeah,
I saw that. Yeah. And to the point, I almost had to look. I was like, wait a minute, because I know that the next Spider universe, that's actually going to be kind of the film when all 4 Spider-Mans kind of like interact. Allegedly, yeah. We'll see. Right. So
I hope so.
So how do you stay with this dream, right? Because, like you said, you got discouraged from crowdfunding. If you're on a $10,000, goal, and you didn't even get 10% of that, you got 2% of that, So, how do you stay committed?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. I think it's getting back into having a vision. I think that's really the biggest thing is when you have a vision and you have a dream, like, it just drives you to keep going. Nowadays, I try not to work on creative projects in particular that I'm not super passionate about, because through the process of making this film and others, I realized that what will keep you going and keep you driven is to believe in something with all your heart. And how the Bible says to love the Lord your God with all your heart, mind, soul, and strength.
Right.
Like when you're working on a creative project, you got to love it with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength too, because that's the only way you're going to keep going, man. And I think just knowing the purpose behind it, which for me was to share this character with the world, it drove me to keep going. The same thing with John Mark. I've been working on that for like 5 years before I finally, really went in and made it. And so I was committed and I had a vision. And, that's really what drives me. It's like it's having a vision. And from there, that commitment comes into it. So I would, tell anyone to really re-examine what you what you really want and what you really know God is calling you to do, and making sure those two align. And that will definitely give you the strength to keep going, and also having people around you, because I couldn't make any of this stuff by myself. Heck no.
Yeah, you need a team.
So, you need a team. And if you don't have a team, you can start doing more small scale stuff and then continually building from there.
Right. No, well said. I think passion gives us the anchor that we need to not be carried about with the wind, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Because your paycheck is only going to keep you so long, right?
Mm-hmm.
Your whatever is only going to keep you until you feel an actual calling. Like, this is what I was created to do, right? This is what I want the world to see. This is the gift that I have, and I want everybody to feel this gift, right?
Mm-hmm.
So let's go there. So as a content creator, there are levels, right? You have some content creators that are just like, you start looking up like, you did that too? You did that too? then you have kind of like everybody else, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there's so many different levels, and it takes so long to gain traction because you have to create something that people want to watch or listen to, or they want to digest,
right?
And then you have to keep creating it. Like, you can't just do it one and done. You got to keep doing this. So how do you not get burnt out? Because I think there's a lot of people out there that start and stop, and whether it's fitness, education, ministry, faith, you can go in any area. There's a lot of starting and stopping, right? There's a lot of what I call like, yeah, let's do it. Yeah. And then come Tuesday, you're nowhere to be found, right?
Ooh.
How do you create consistency?
Yeah. I don't know if I'm the best example for this because I bounce between different stuff. But for me, it all makes sense. So I guess like for me, it's kind of that it's the passion. It's like, so, okay, I'll give an example. So I have kind of different seasons. So when I was growing up, when I was in like high school and college, I was really driven on like, I'm going to do films. I'm going to do this. This is what I'm going to do this. And that's what I was kind of, my focus was on. I get out and I start working, and then I kind of lost a little bit of my passion for filmmaking, but I was making, don't get me wrong, I was still making videos for a living. So it was kind of like, I was making videos, but I wasn't making films. And so like, it was a little bit of a difference there, but I still, loved my job and what I was doing. Sure. And so then my creative brain kind of turns towards music. And so that's when I started making music, and I put out my first album, and I was doing shows all of that year. Just people just reaching out to me and asking to book me for stuff. It was really cool. And that's kind of where my season had been up into 2020, and really 2020, I'm now started to get back into filmmaking again, and with the audio drama. And so for me, I never lost my passion for creating stories or telling stories. There's just kind of different seasons of life. So first, I want to say, don't beat yourself up if you feel like you're in a different season. That's okay. Sometimes you do need a break from doing something for so long. Right. And that helps you come back reinvigorized. But I will say that you got to come back at some point. And some people be like, well, Josh, you haven't done your other podcasts. Oh, I will at someday, just not right now. I'm doing other creative things.
Right. Like helping me out.
Right. It's let me, I'm see if I can answer the question, but I guess it's just, it comes back to your why. Like, why do you do what you do, and really getting clear about that, and really getting clear about your purpose. And not to say that it's not, it's not, oh, this is my purpose, but sometimes purpose is doing what God is calling you to do right now. It's like, this is part of my purpose, doing what he told me to do today. And that's leading, it's not like the end, this one thing I'm going to accomplish in my life, which there may be, but it's a series of steps. And not that I've achieved that. I'm only 26, but like, I'm trying to learn this now, that it's like, okay, let me do what God is calling me to do today. Sure. And not try to be like, oh, worrying about tomorrow, because tomorrow's going to take care of itself, but I got to do what I got to do today, but still have a vision for where I can be, right? But trust that God is leading me step by step today. And so that's, right. I'm saying this because I need to repeat this to myself to continuously remember that. Right. And that all ties into consistency and just ties into doing your purpose and all that.
What do you say to, because, I think the school of thought is shifting. It hasn't shifted, don't get me wrong, but it is shifting. It is evolving. There's a very traditional school of thought. You just do one thing your whole life. If you're a pastor, all you can do is pastor. If you're a lawyer, all you can do is.
That scares me.
Yeah, I know, right? Lawyering, right? If you're a doctor, I get it for a doctor, especially if you're like an ER doctor. But, but you can be multi-hyphenated. You can be multi-talented. And, I don't believe in this jack of all trades, master none. I believe you can be great in many different sectors because they have synergy, and as long as there's synergy, you can build off of each other. What do you say to that person that is like, well, I can do this. I also do this. I sell t-shirts. What would you say to somebody who just needs a focus and a discipline?
Yeah. Wow. I would say pray and ask the Lord. What do you need to be doing? Because I've had to learn that I can't be all things to all people, and that I have to have seasons in life of focus on. Maybe for me, it's probably at the least, I'd say at the most 3, which for some people may be a lot, but it's like, okay, I'm working on this. Because if I try to do 8 things, I'm not going to do any of them that great. But if I can do 3 things and just focus on those 3 things, I can get those things done. So it's really prioritization and really focusing on where do I want to be in the next year? Where do I want to be in the next 3 years? Where do I want to be in the next 5 years? Okay, what am I doing today that is not really where I want to be in 1 year, but I'm just doing it just to fill time or whatever. So it's really getting clear on where you believe God is moving you to be. And then prioritizing your activities around that. So if you're not even focusing on selling t-shirts in the future, unless it's, I guess, a huge source of income, I would say cut that out, because it's just using up your time for what you could be doing on where you actually want to go. So it's just really like being okay to stop things. And, it's being okay with saying no to people. Which I have a super hard time doing sometimes. I like helping people. So for me, it's really hard sometimes. I don't know why. For other people, it's like, Josh, what are you doing? But for me, it's like, I'm letting someone down. There's no one else that can help them. It's like, no, I'm not the only person in the world, and there are other people, and being okay with that. But I also like to offer solutions. So I'm not just going to say nah, I ain't doing it. Don't offer, but that's just me.
I get it. Being okay with saying no. Like the older I get, NO is my word. And, I'm not supposed to be cussing, but when I say no, I know what I mean. So it's a no, but it's a no win, so I tell people now, I'll be like, nah, can't even do that. I would love to, but I'm not going to.
I gotta get sleep at night at some point, man. I can't. It's a lot of times it's just a time thing. Like you said, we get clear on your time. Man, what I remember one day, it was last year, and I was being convicted on this. I got on a notebook and wrote down how many things I was committed to at that time. I'm like, dang, I got to stop. I don't even when I have time for all of this, because I'm going to be letting people down, and then my word will become not useful, reliable anymore. And so it's like this, and then, it's a downhill stream from there. So I'm trying to get better at that. I haven't obtained that place, but that's what I had to say this to continuously remind myself of it. So, it is what it is.
It is. Speaking of the fun, if you want to keep seeing amazing content on It Is What It Is, you know what you got to do? Subscribe to the YouTube link below.
I didn't even do that on purpose.
Oh my gosh. I like the plug. Look, this is my last question. I appreciate my guest so much because, he agreed to this. This is our second bout about it. So I'm not going to hold him too long. What's next? Right? With every journey, we hit these pivotal points, and it's like when people find out, they're like, oh, wow. Or they're like, oh, okay. But what's next for you, Josh? I mean, you've done some great things. I know what you've done for me on the content side, which I really appreciate so much. Again, you're becoming a shifter. You're shifting others, right? And then a silent shifter too. But, after a while, when you build up that resume, it's the next thing. What's the next thing for you?
All right, that's complicated, man. There's a lot.
Yeah.
I got an album in me somewhere, or at least a couple songs, some singles. And then I'm developing John Mark into a feature. So I'm working on that now. I want to start pitching that. And then probably going to do another either John Mark season 2 or another audio drama at some point. Maybe make a few short films, at least in the next year. That's kind of what's going on in my brain. But right now it's just I'm working on the business and shopping, trying to get John Mark heard by as many people as possible. So yeah, I mean, who knows, man? It could be a new song. It could be an album.
Yeah.
Definitely something John Mark related for sure, though.
Look, when you make these movies, remember your boy. Just so like, hey, Cody, there's this guy. I will drive down. I will leave Chicago and start my acting career.
Go on, let's go.
I'm ready. Well, look, Josh, I appreciate you so much. Where can they connect with you, man? Where can they support you?
Man, you guys can connect with me on Instagram, although I'm off it right now, but I'll be back on soon. Instagram.com/Josh Reels. You can find John Mark at whoisjohnmark.com or Facebook.com/whoisjohnmark. Seriously, if you love stories, if you love drama, definitely check out the series. I want to hear your thoughts. YouTube is just Joshua Williams. I've been a little MIA off there, but I'm making moves in other different places.
Y'all connect with Josh, hit him up on IG. I know he's been, silent right now, but he will be posting again. Follow him on YouTube. Follow him on every platform. And you know what you want to do? Following is easy. The cool thing about following is it costs you nothing. It's absolutely zero because it's free. And if you want to keep seeing amazing leaders like Josh, you know what you got to do? Subscribe to the YouTube page at YouTube at CV Space K.
Yes, sir.
I appreciate my audience. I appreciate my guests. Until next time, guys. Thanks. Hey, what's up, everybody? You like what you saw? Were you entertained? Were you informed? We want to keep seeing amazing content. Subscribe at the link below. YouTube, CV Space K. You connect where all podcasts are streaming. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Anchor. Connect with me. I want to connect with you.